All right, sports fans, what is up? Welcome back for another episode of The Fan in the End. I'm your host, as always, Steven. Rychel, not to the right to me is not Mr. Ben Troop as Christmas Eve has already started in the Troop household, but me and Mr. Marvin Powell are going to hold down the fort for you today. So first and foremost, everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas Eve. Hope everyone's going to be having an exciting holiday. What are your plans over the next 2 days, Marvin?
Man, just chilling. We gonna see, if Santa gonna come through and bless these kids. I got a feeling. I got a feeling he is. But outside of that, man, just grateful to be around family, and that's really what it's about. It's just family, man, and just recognizing how grateful for you are, how grateful we should be, and how thankful we are just to have people in our lives, man. So yeah, we're gonna be chilling at the house, man. We may get some company. I got some friends who may come down from New York and come through. But it'll be an easy day, easy few days in the Powell household.
Yeah, always fun. I'm Jewish, but I always make sure like we do the whole Christmas thing. I normally let my kids go with their moms, and since we're that, we normally do like little Christmas here in the Rochelle household. So they can kind of get everything spread around. But up above me is the QR code for the South Florida Tribune.com. So guys, if you haven't checked out the website yet, please go and do that. And let's get right into it, my friend.
Yeah.
Now, there's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. Obviously, we're going to talk about the meltdown that is going down in Detroit. We already seen what's going down with the Indianapolis Colts. Man, they started 7-1. They're like 1-6 in their last 7 games. So it's rough there. But I wanted to. We've been trying to inject a lot more college football, especially with all the stuff we're doing here on the channel. Now, we were talking about Miami last night. I don't know if you've seen this, right? So apparently Warren Sapp had reached out to the athletic director to get tickets to go to the Cotton Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his reply was like upper corners 200 before fees, upper end zones 200 before fees. Let me know what you like. His simple response was basically like better seats, and there's been no response to it since he said that.
Yeah.
Now we all have seen over the last few months Michael Irvin on the sidelines acting a damn fool, right? So why can't Warren Sapp get that same treatment? Is he not a Hall of Famer? Is he not a Super Bowl winning defensive tackle? Did I miss something here?
Yeah. I would think that Warren has a telephone number for the head coach of the UM, Mario Cristobal. I would think that he has the number for Michael Irvin. I would think there's somebody more direct that he can deal with that's going to handle that for him. If he went to a website or he went to a link or something like that, then he probably got
the athletic director. I mean, come on.
What are we doing? I thought it said the athletic department. But listen, it is what it is, man. A guy like Warren Sapp is big time. He's Hall of Fame. He's definitely in the Hall of Fame, one of the greats in the NFL, greats in college. You would think that a guy like that would be able to get a better response, get better tickets, get a better setup. Seriously, you know what I'm saying? But obviously
are they mad that he's coaching on Deion's staff in Colorado? Or is that punishment or something?
No. I would. This is what I think. I think that he went to some. I don't think if I recall, I don't think that thing said the director. I think he went to the department, which means he may have just called a number or went to a site or whatever it may be. Everybody in the building knows who Warren Sapp is. Everybody in that building, even though he played 20 years ago. Everybody knows who he is. You know what I mean? So if Warren Sapp, calls you and says that he wants to be at the game, he wants to show you all that kind of support, he wants to have the kind of presence, man, you got to show him better love than that. A guy like Sapp shouldn't be paying for those tickets.
He should be right on the sideline with Michael Irvin acting a fool.
He should be on all fours on the sideline, barking like a dog, like Michael Irvin was doing pregame and at the opening kickoff. Literally, he was on all fours, barking like a dog. So
out there.
Now I don't know. I don't know that Sapp got to put it out there like that. I don't know that he got to put them on blast like that. Put his school on blast like that. But obviously he was in his feelings, and I kind of get it, man. This dude put a lot of work in. he's done a lot to contribute toward, maintaining that name, the U. And again, he's one of those guys that you should definitely treat special.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like everyone gets that sideline treatment, and I get that. Like, not all your alumni is going to get that, but he's paid his dues to not be given upper anything seats first and foremost.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, so we calling you MP3 now. That's it. We calling you MP3 now.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? But no, man, I hate that for old Sap, man. That dude's you would think they'd have a better.
And speaking of calling out, you just brought something like we were talking about the Bengals this whole off season. What they were doing to their alumni. They weren't even cleaning the snow out of the stands.
Listen, dude.
Like, what are you guys doing over there?
Everything that I've ever heard about that organization is that they're just classless, man. They are just classless. I saw what my former teammate Carson Palmer was going through, and he basically retired. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't want to be a part of that situation anymore. And just you hear other guys talking about how they gotta pay to fly to their own award ceremonies, and there's no accommodation for them to stay when they get to Cincinnati. They don't know how to treat a guest. They don't know how to treat somebody that's supposed to be special to your organization. That's for $1 billion company that they are. You would think they would do much better in those situations. Honoring their past players and just doing a better job with the facilities and the makeup and the pomps and circumstance. Because there are times when you need some pomps and circumstance. You know what I'm saying? That it's relevant. So, I don't know what Mike Brown and them boys doing over there, man, but they got to do better. They got to try harder because people out there trying to get out of Cincinnati left and right. I feel like now you got my man Joe Burrow talking about he ain't having fun no more, and that's not good.
He ain't feeling the love of the game no more.
That's
man.
Not good.
And listen. I already. It's kind of gonna go right into my next one with you. You about to tell your boys in the white and green, like, listen, go give Cincinnati a call and see what we're gonna take to get him out of there.
Man, listen, I would love to have Joe Burrow, but I'll be honest with you, I feel like the Jets would ruin his career even worse. I like Joe Burrow, man. He won me over in college. I like his story. I like his demeanor. I like how he moves. I like his swag. I like his confidence. I like his whole situation. I do, because I think for as much as he's a little bit out there, a little bit alpha, says a bit much, I also think there's a certain aspect of humility that exists within him that you could also tell. And I love that, So, man, I would love for the Jets listen, we gave up Sauce Gardner. We gave up Quentin Williams. We got some extra picks. I'd love to package that into a deal to get Joe Burrow, because everybody's trying to get out of Cincinnati.
It's like the town's on fire and the rats are jumping the ship, and Joe looks like he was the person that lit the match.
And it's so sad for them because they paid him. They paid his number one guy. He lobbied for his number two guy, T. Higgins. They paid him too. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like now Joe's complaining. So I'm
going to mess with you, Eddie, right now. Since I know you a Cowboys fan, I've been seeing some graphics over the past few weeks and seeing Mr. Prescott in purple. You're right. They may need a quarterback because J.J. McCarthy's got a fractured hand, and here we go again. He's injured again. This is the third time in 2 years he's gonna be looking on that injury list. So what was it? Eddie Ricky Water said to me, Glass Man. He might be Glass Man. So
that's tough, man.
It is tough, and it's a brutal game. Let's be real, and we can't expect all these guys to never get through a season and never be injured. The Cal Ripken days in football is nowhere to be found, man. At some point in time, you're going to get injured. What it really boils down is to what the severity of the injury is.
Yeah, man. The Cal Ripkins, the Brett Favres, the dudes, even Eli. I think he had a little streak going for a minute.
Eli was tough because he used to get beat up too.
Yeah, he was. Eli was tough. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but he was tough, and he had 2 great games.
Toughness don't give you Hall of Fame numbers, but that's just
That's
me and you on the same boat when it comes to Eli.
Right, that's another conversation, man. But no, yeah, them Bengals, man, they got to figure that out because it's sad when you're a star quarterback, when you're a franchise quarterback, when one of the guys who's one of the faces of the league is basically indicating that, yeah, I wouldn't mind being out of here. You know what I'm saying? This ain't it for me. So that's a sad situation, man. And in regards to you talking about Dak, Dak going to the Vikings, is that what you talking? Is that what you throwing out there, Steve?
Yeah. Listen, I already said it, man. Me and you talked about this a few weeks ago. Everyone thinks just because Dak Prescott's a Cowboys that I hate him. No, man. Yeah. That kid, he was a 4th round pick. And worked hard and developed himself to that spot. Took Tony Romo's spot. Tony probably had a season or 2, but seeing that Dak was there, saying, you know what, I'm gonna just hang it up, man. Yeah. And I honestly believe you put him on another team, he's not 2-5 in the playoffs. That he actually he's a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. I think he's fringe on either just in or just out. He is one of the top 10 quarterbacks in this league, and I think he is wasting his life staying down there in Big D. Yeah, and some of the stuff I see that he's doing, like I don't know if you've seen that, like he just gave like the entire staff at Texas Stadium Christmas bonuses, like the whole everybody that works there. So he is one of these guys. He deserves the win, and it's not going to happen for him in Dallas. I'm sorry.
Well. Don't feel too bad for him. I mean, he chose to sign that extension in Dallas.
Yes.
He chose to be burdened with $60 million a year guaranteed for the next 4 or 5, 6 years, whatever it may be. He can wipe his tears with his money, man. You know what I'm saying? He's the face of the franchise. You see him all these commercials. He'll be in more commercials when he retires. There's a benefit to being the Cowboys quarterback in so many different ways, man. And granted, he definitely is a top 10 quarterback, probably better than that. Dak really, he's a guy who, even though he came out the gate playing well, competing with Tony Romo, winning that spot, Dak really has grown as a player, man. He really has. And when you watch him play, I mean, he's getting it done. He's running, he's throwing a little sidearm. I mean, he has the whole bag, man. He has the whole situation in his game. And I love it. I do. He's a guy that definitely won me over. And it's unfortunate that him and Jerry Jones cannot get them Cowboys, any further along than what they are, because they get so much media coverage. They're on TV all the time. Jerry's always in the camera. You would think that they're really relevant by the way they're covered, but they're not in football. I mean, they're a below average team. You know what I'm saying? So, but Dak Prescott is the one who's definitely benefiting as the star quarterback, as the face of the franchise, as the $60 million man. So, again, he goes to a different team. Maybe maybe you never know. You don't know. Is it Dak? I don't think it's Dak. Not at this point. I don't think it's Dak. But what have they done? At the end of the day, you are what your record says you are. You know what I'm saying? Your resume doesn't lie. It tells the truth. You know what I'm saying? So. I don't know, man, but he's looked very good this year, in my opinion, in spite of the fact that they can't get over the hump.
Well, he was injured last year, and he's healthy this year. That's the big difference there, Eddie. Like, let's be honest, and without a doubt, one of these guys that should be candidate for comeback player of the year, in my opinion. Regardless if there's a star on his helmet or not. So
yeah.
Couple other things I want to get to. We can go back to college for a second, and we got to talk about those nasty UCLA team. But Troy Aikman was asked about this, and asked about the whole NIL thing and everything like that, and he basically said, I've done that. I've done that one time at UCLA. Wrote a sizable check, went to another school, so didn't get as much as a thank you note. And it sounds like, as far as him investing into UCLA, that Troy Aikman is like, I'm done. I'm done. So between NIL and the transfer portal, Troy Aikman doesn't want to have anything to do with college football right now in regards to his alma mater. Man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can understand his perspective to a degree. You wrote a check, Troy's an old school dude. Even though he transferred, even though he went from Oklahoma to UCLA, he's an old school dude. You know what I'm saying? And in that era, my era, Steve, you didn't do that. You were a 4-year player. There was a commitment there. And in Troy's mind, I write this check and you're gonna be with me for life. Nah, man, this is a business. These dudes are free agents. Every year it's a new deal, it's a new number, it's a new opportunity. That's just what it is. I think that's going to change. I think they're starting to put some guardrails on this thing. They're having conversations about putting guardrails just about the way these contracts are structured in a transfer portal. But I think Troy probably wrote a 6-figure check. You know what I'm saying? And this dude took the money and then bounced a few months later. You know what I'm saying? And Troy's thinking, this money makes us family. This money buys you into the Bruin program. And this kid was like, nah, sucker, this is a business. You know what I mean? What have you done for me lately? That check you wrote me, that was 4 months ago. You know what I'm saying? We need new checks. So now what you're seeing, what we're seeing at USC for sure and all these other schools, see, these players sign contracts and they re-sign every year. Basically, they're all on 1-year deals. You know what I'm saying? And this is what it is. And that's what Troy found out. And this kid, I guess it was a Dante Moore who he
I'm not. The graphic didn't say who it was.
Dante Moore. I think that was the Oregon quarterback who's now in the playoffs, starting for Oregon, who started at UCLA. Man, and it looks like Troy dropped the bag on this dude, and this dude took that money, took a few classes that semester, and took off to Oregon for that Phil Knight money. That's what happened. That's what pissed him off, man. And listen, that's what it is. That's the business. You know what I'm saying? And
it's like when you're talking about the business side of it, like you make a bad investment, sometimes you make a good investment. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes you wind up losing everything you put on it. It's you shooting craps at the table, man. It's sometimes you're gonna land on black. Sometimes you're gonna land on red.
Yeah, man. Listen. At the end of the day, can you blame the kid? UCLA's football team was trash. I mean, see, this is one of the worst seasons they've ever had. You know what I'm saying? Whereas
that would be like me getting mad at Kurt Warner's kid for leaving Temple, right?
Exactly.
That would like me getting mad at him for leaving Temple. He knows like they're nowhere near where he needs to be, and he's trying to make sure that when his time comes and when he's a senior, that he has the most eyeballs that he can have on him. He's gonna have a lot of eyeballs in Temple. So when he transferred, I wasn't mad. I was like, I was fortunate enough to watch him play with my son. That's the only thing I thought of at the time. Is like, listen, you got to build up.
Is he good, Steve? Can he play? Can he ball?
Oh man, he dropped 50 that game we went to.
Kurt Warner 50.
And not just that, like not only was he there tearing up through the air, the running back who was playing that day, he had like three tutties. I'm like, good God.
Hold on. You talking about Kurt Warner, the quarterback, or Kurt Warner, the running back from the Seahawks?
No, his son EJ.
What I'm saying, the quarterback from the Rams or the running back from the Seahawks?
No. Yeah, Kurt Warner, the quarterback.
Okay, his son's a baller.
Yeah, his son.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
His son can play. I forget where he transferred to. It was last season.
Yeah.
So, but
Temple, come on, man. Come on.
I mean, it's like we said, it's in the bloodline, man. As long as he's watching film like his dad does, he should be all right. He should be all right. As long as his body holds up.
Yeah. Listen, but
PJ Warner, that's right. That's right, my friend.
All right. Listen, in regards to Troy Aikman, this is college football is changing. It ain't like it used to be. It's a new day. The real talk is this. Them Bruins need Troy to cut that check every year, man. They need as much help as they can get. You don't believe me? Ask Mel Farr Jr. They need as much help as they can get building that roster because right now they're in trouble.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when Mel comes across this, he's not going to be happy with us. But I mean, listen, this is what happens. But I want to get into the main topic for today's show, and it looks like the Detroit Lions are going to miss the playoffs this year. So I have to ask the question, right? Have they missed their Super Bowl window? Is it closed? Now they do have a lot of good things on that team, and I think when you look at it, right, I think that offense hides a lot of the deficiencies on that defense right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you got you got yourself a bull of a pass rusher, and he's still young. I think they still got like another year on his rookie deal before they have to pay him. But I'm not going to sit there and say it's closed, because you still got the culture there that's turned them from the doormat of the entire NFL to a respectable team, a perennial contender for the playoffs. But being in that NFC North is no joke right now, between the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears. Obviously, Minnesota's fallen off this year, and they were a playoff team last year.
Right.
Obviously, we're swapping out the Bears for the Vikings, but I think we talked about this last night. The Bears are for real, though. They're not going to be going next season and back down there. But
no, I think the Bears are definitely for real, and they're ascending, and they're just going to get better. To be honest with you, as Caleb gets better, but yeah, with Detroit, man, the last couple of years, they've been the team who almost made it, the team who looks good, the team who's hot, and when you look at it, they did a great job bringing in players. Gibbs and Goff and Brown. I mean, they drafted the defensive end Hutchinson. I mean, they have players, over there without question. But what they really had within that culture was elite level coordinators and coaching, and that's what we realize is missing now.
And
I mean, when Ben Johnson was running that O was running at a high level. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You look at Aaron Glenn's defense when he was there at times, man, that D was humming, especially playing behind that offense. So you lose those coordinators, and now you're stuck with Dan Campbell pulling the play sheet from his offensive coordinator, and he's calling plays on fourth down, and he's drawing up his own plays in the sand because he's trying to get this thing going. And you realize how much Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, were involved in that thing, and you realize what their role was. You take them out the picture, and it's just the wheels are falling apart. Now, it doesn't help them. They've had some injuries at the O-line. That's just, I mean, for any NFL team, any NFL quarterback, any NFL offense, I mean, you start losing guys at the O-line position, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad, and you're seeing all of that. So the lack of direction with offensive defense, having lost their coordinators, the injuries on the O-line, Dan Campbell out here, calling his own plays, going on for fourth down, just doing things that are typically strategic. He's just going with his gut. And you can't do that in the NFL, man. They playing chess out there, dude. You know what I'm saying? They playing chess out there, and he's just trying to wing it. Old school, with the tobacco in his mouth, and just, it don't work like that, man. You know what I'm saying? For real.
I already said I kind of felt like the high-powered offense has hid their deficiencies on defense. You lose to the Commanders in the divisional round last year when they probably should have been the Eagles and the Lions for the NFC Championship game last year. Now you don't make the playoffs again this year. I don't think they were as banged up this year as they were last year, at least from where I'm looking at. But if they don't find a way to get better fast on defense, and like you said, the offensive line, I know all about it. When you get injuries on that, man, your quarterback running around like a crazy person. And Jared Goff is not one of these guys who performs well when he's blitzed that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but to answer your question, this guy, is the window open, window closed? It's closed because the Packers got LaFleur, and they got Love. They have a quarterback, head coach. And then you look at the Bears. They got, again, thriving quarterback, new head coach, maybe coach of the year. I don't know what's going to happen in Minnesota, but it's
and they have an offensive line, which the Bears haven't had in some time. Yes.
Yeah.
And then you hear this from, Detroit Lions is star tackle Penei Sewell basically saying he ain't happy about playing on the holidays. Do you realize what team you're playing for?
Right.
Do you realize what team you're playing for? Because that's what the Detroit Lions are. They play on Thanksgiving. They play on Christmas. What are you complaining about?
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't understand that culture. He doesn't understand that's been history, man. We grew up watching Barry Sanders and them boys playing on Thanksgiving, right? Didn't we?
Yeah,
I feel like we did it. It goes way back, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then to have a player come out and say that, guys do that. You've heard guys say that, man, and you can understand that.
Yeah, especially if you come from a big family too, man. Like it's like, man, like
Yeah.
I can't spend the holidays with my kids. I got to go work. You know, you sign the contract,
Yeah.
boy. You know what you're getting into, especially if you're playing in Detroit.
Yeah,
Like that'd be like sitting there like you're a Dallas Cowboy and be like you're playing on the holidays. It's what's expected. It's what's expected of you guys, man. Come on.
Absolutely. And listen, thank God that you playing here in the States. You know, the NFL's pushing this international agenda. Man, don't be surprised when you got these holiday games, you know, overseas. I know it sounds crazy, but you know, it is what it is, man. But when you sign that contract, then you gonna just like the military, you're gonna go where they
Billy
tell you
Sims.
to go.
Oh man, there you go, Eddie. Name dropping Billy Sims.
Oklahoma Sooner, right? Billy Sims,
yes,
running back,
yes,
number 20.
I see him all over X sometimes. He be giving away his hot sauce or his barbecue sauce, one of the two. I forget which one it is.
Okay, right on.
I always see Billy Sims on the social media platforms. He's one of those lions, man. Like you say, he's a Sooner. So
somebody needs to talk to Nate Soul. Let him know, man.
Yeah.
Listen, take that big check. Get out there on Thanksgiving. Get out there on Christmas. You can go back. Listen, my man was Tongan Samoan. I know a lot of big family, close family in that culture.
Bring them out with you. Bring them out with you, man.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't think. I think he's still on his rookie deal. He ain't got his big contract yet. I think that maybe that's the issue. He just can't afford to do it yet.
Yeah, he may be in his 4th or 5th year. You would think.
Yeah, I think that's.
You would think they've already extended him, but they've been paying people though. Detroit's paid people. You know what I'm saying? So they better pay him.
Didn't St. Brown just get an extension like 3 weeks ago or something like that?
He got paid. They had to pay him, so they got to figure that out. And you talk about that Super Bowl window.
Cuzzo got a good question for you, brother.
Yeah.
Who's going to coach the Baltimore Ravens next season? Will John Harbaugh coach the Saints? No, I don't think Harbaugh is going to coach the Saints because I don't think they're going to get rid of. I don't think they're going to get rid of my man so quickly. Like we said last night, I think he's done the most with nothing.
Kellen Moore?
Yeah, Kellen Moore.
Yeah, they have. I'm not going to lie. The Saints, aren't doing great, but they've been more competitive in certain moments than I thought they would have been. And I mean that. So, and they got this young quarterback, Tyler Shaw, who I wasn't very high on when they drafted him. He's played okay.
I don't think any of us were. I don't think any of us were.
Yeah, he's looked okay. He looks better than Jackson Dart. I'll tell you that. You know what I'm saying? He does. He looks better than Jackson Dart.
Yeah, there you go, Eddie.
Yeah. So, no, Kellen Moore has shown me something. I think he's going to stay there next year, though, because he has.
I do think your cousin's right. I think Baltimore. We talked about this before the season. That the most pressure on any one team coming into this season was the Baltimore Ravens. It was Super Bowl or bust for them. It was one of my headlines for it. And the fact that they're not in the playoffs, the fact that Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers have stolen the division from them, I think is a fireable offense. I would not be surprised to see Baltimore move on for whatever reason. I could be wrong here, but it has to fall on somebody.
Yeah, it does.
Ooh, Eddie, that would not surprise me right there.
Harbaugh to the Giants?
That would not surprise me there.
Maybe. The Giants got to figure it out, man. The Giants got to figure it out. They got to
get rid of that GM. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He should have been fired after the whole Saquon mess, and then they gave Slayton the same contract that we just gave to Saquon Barkley. He's like, wait, what? Y'all had the money then.
Yeah.
Y'all had the money then.
Yeah, Harbaugh's been there for a long time. I think him and Mike T are the most tenured coaches. And Baltimore has invested heavily into that team. Guys are getting their contracts. The problem is you have a top flight quarterback. You have an elite quarterback. You have a guy who nobody questions. This isn't like Jalen Hurts. Well, he's won, but people still question him. Nobody questions Lamar Jackson. He hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but nobody questions Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, at least. I think we're waiting for him to get it done. And it just hasn't happened, man. In that window, with that contract, puts a lot of pressure on the coach, for results. So I don't know what's going to happen with him in Baltimore. I'd be shocked. If they let him go. I would. But then again, I'm also hearing things about Harbaugh at Michigan. Seriously. So
getting the other Harbaugh.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I mean, that's something that I've heard across the wire, man. Potentially. So I don't know, man. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think Harbaugh stays in Baltimore. I think him and Lamar have a relationship. I think that matters, and I think it's just a matter of these guys overcoming injuries and being able to get it done. But yeah, Baltimore is one of those teams where they need to get over the hump. Just like Dallas, they're kind of like Dallas. They have to get over the hump. They're well vested. The money, the owners are spending the money. They have players. You can't say they don't have players. And it's tough to see a 90-year-old Aaron Rodgers who looked like crap the last couple of years. I mean, he was hurt, but still he looked like he did. And now he's out here, a fountain of youth. And the Steelers are looking like, Cinderella. You know what I mean? So it's embarrassing, I think, if you're Baltimore, and they definitely have to figure something out.
Yeah, it's going to be rough in Baltimore. And speaking of rough situations, we got to talk about, since we're already been talking about the Steelers, we got to talk about DK. Now, there's a couple different things I want to touch on with this. Obviously, I think DK, you should never, I don't care what is said, let a fan get you to the point where you're going to put your hands on it. So not only is he getting suspended, but because of the verbiage in his contract, he has voided himself $40 million worth of incentives over the next 3 seasons in his contract. It's completely gone now. So not only do you lose the game checks and being fined for putting your hands on a fan, but the way your contract was set up, they set this up that if you did something like this, they could take the money away from you. So not only did you get act out of character and have this thing happen, but you lose $40 million over the next 3 years. Now, the other part of this I want to say is we were just saying the word guardrails, right? Well, there needs to be something put into place. We see it in the NBA all the time. Somebody says something foul, something out of line, player goes and gets security guard, referee, etc., and the fan is removed from the game. Why can we not have the same thing for football? Yes, do I think that we pay to be able to heckle and stuff like that, but there's a line that you can't cross. He's sitting, DK sitting there saying it's a racial slur. The fan is claiming that he basically called him by his legal name. It was just your general heckling. Videos have come out. Haven't seen anything where he has said a racial slur. So I don't know exactly who, like they're both basically pointing fingers at each other. Either way, I think that the NFL, regardless of the suspension and all that, moving forward, you need to put a system in place for the players when they are having somebody who's a heckler or stalker, or this is exactly what they do at every game to try to get a rise out of players and have them react to the way they're doing. Let me get your overall thoughts on this, Marvin. How are you feeling about the DK Metcalf situation, both the suspension and what we should do moving forward to help protect the player?
Yeah. So first of all, you're right. It's been alleged that there was a slur or something that was said that got DK upset, and you wonder how valid is that? Is that a real thing? Because no one wants to be subjected to racial slurs, and you got the guy's right in his face and all that. My thought is this: DK has been in. He's played a bunch of games in his career. Okay, he's been in all these stadiums. He's dealt with all these hecklers. You've never seen him respond the way he did. And you think to yourself, what can make a guy lose it? What can make a guy lose it and go over and cross that line? Probably a racial slur, right? Now, again, I haven't seen any evidence of it being done, which doesn't mean that it wasn't done. But I could understand, that being what sets this dude off. With that said, you got to have more. You got to have greater emotional intelligence, like Ryan Clark had said. You know what I'm saying? You got to do better than that. These fans are doing what they're doing, being fanatical and crazy and insane and stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, You can't respond to these fools because then you become the fool. And the fan doesn't have $45 million to lose. You do. You know what I'm saying? So, real talk, man, you got to get back to the whole sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I mean, even in this situation, it ain't worth 45 mil. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just take it to another level. If I was DK and I lost 45 mil for addressing you, and I thought that you used a stir against me, man, I don't want to take it to another level. You know what I'm saying? 45 mil, you know what I'm saying? You end up in the gutter somewhere. You know what I mean? So the NFL has to do a better job with these fans. These fans are just becoming more and more brazen, more and more ambitious and just crazy, more and more fanatical. You got to protect your product on the field, man. These guys are well paid. These guys are elite level athletes. You have them walking into these stadiums with all these lunatics, and you got to do a better job of protecting your players. You do. I don't think the fans should have that kind of access to players. I've never felt comfortable with fans being able to touch players, being close enough to be able to touch players. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just too much for me, man, because these people they act crazy. So it's really an unfortunate situation. I have a hard time believing that from a legal standpoint, this is over. I don't see DK and his agent really walking away from this. When you talk about, certain conduct and the kind of conduct that could cut your pay, that kind of conduct has to be defined and to be very clear. And we have to make sure that whatever he did, because the first thing I heard was DK punched him, right? That's what I heard.
He did. I heard he grabbed him by his blue wig.
See, I didn't see a punch though.
I couldn't see if it was a closed fist or an open hand. It looked like an open hand to me.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying.
But here's the thing: don't walk over there and put yourself in that situation. Eddie was like, "Where was the security? They were they were there. They just weren't right up against the barrier wall." And my thing is like, if he said something to you and it got you to the point we were going to walk over, you should have just grabbed the security guard, like, "Yo, he's sitting there saying, but blah, blah, blah," and have him removed. Don't let somebody get you so out of your character that you're now costing yourself money, the team money, and things like that nature. Like I get it, dude. In the heat of the moment, you just want to deal with it. I get that. Listen, I have anger problems too, especially when the wrong thing is being said and about the wrong topic. I get out of pocket sometimes too. But as you represent the Shield, you represent the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Seattle Seahawks, whoever your team happens to be, you have to set that example. And like a lot of times, a lot of fans, we make fun of the basketball players because they're like, "Oh, he said something mean, have him thrown out of the game." No, I think there is a line that we should all uphold ourselves to, even as fans. Even against our most bitterest rivals, there's certain things you can't say. There's certain things you can't do. But we all have to hold all of ourselves accountable. Athlete, fan, security, all of us. We all need to make sure that is a clean and safe and healthy environment for a fan, for player, for athlete, for coaches, all of it.
And now DKs have to worry about a lawsuit, from the fan. That's coming. You know what I mean? Because the fans already had his attorney speak on his behalf. So if he has an attorney, I mean, you know where this is going, man. It's tough, and it's unfortunate. And at the end of the day, I really feel like the NFL is not serving its players correctly, and just not having the proper security at times. DK already had complained about this guy. There's a history. Okay, there's a history with DK and this dude. So, I really hate it, man. And I know.
And I think the thing I don't like is what I did hear in some of the audio was like, I got what I came for out of his mouth. So I don't think there should be any litigation because you agitated the situation. You knew you were going to get him out of the thing, regardless if it was calling him a slur, calling him by his government name, et cetera, whatever the case may be. Like you went there with the intention to say something to get a reaction out of it, and you got the reaction out of it. So in the way I feel about it, there should be no civil litigation for it, at least in my opinion.
This is America. They're gonna sue your ass for anything, Steve.
I know. But like Mike Tyson said, sometimes people say things over over the internet because they can't get punched in the mouth. Well, sometimes when you're in person, you're going to get punched in the mouth. You say some sly stuff. So
let me tell you something. You keep having these situations where these fans interact with these players, and these fans forget that we're all human, that we both men out here for real. You know, I don't want it, but it wouldn't shock me if you had a situation where a fan was held accountable in some way for a player taking a loss. I don't want that to happen. You know, I don't want to see that. But
I know there has been over this calendar year. There's been fans that have been banned from you know all stadiums or ballparks or whatever for stuff that they've done. We also, like I said, athlete needs to hold themselves to a standard, but we also need to hold the viewers, the fans, to a standard too. So
imagine somebody coming to your job, coming to your job to tell you how bad you are at it. Just, you know, cuss you out at your job. They don't work there. They don't work. They coming to your job to say, "Hey, Steve, you terrible, man. You didn't hit your numbers last month. That's trash." You know what I'm saying? Just imagine some random folk. Like, that's how crazy it is. People don't look at it like that, though. You know what I'm saying? Because we make exception. We make it almost okay because it's sports and they're well paid. Nah, these are human beings with feelings. You know what I'm saying? These is real dudes with emotions. You already hear the stereotype. Half these dudes come from the streets. Why do you want to mess with them? Why do you think that? Why you
think they come from the streets? That means you're gonna get knuckled up real quick.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why do you think DK Metcalf is a dude for you to go at? Are you dumb or are you stupid? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know, this is gonna. I don't want it. I can see something like this being tragic at some point, man. Because at the end of the day, I lost $45 million dealing with your punk ass.
Man. Eddie, you need to leave Arkansas Fred out of this, man. If you heckling Dion, you heckling Dion. Don't bring Arkansas Fred into this, man.
Arkansas Fred.
Fred Barnett.
Oh, okay.
We call him Arkansas Fred in Philadelphia. You know, it was in my opinion that was Randall Cunningham's go-to when he was in his heyday here in Philadelphia. But listen. And we, speaking of garbage and trash, I got to do it to you, brother. I got to do it to you. We were talking about your Jets, right? Yeah. How upsetting is this, right? That three of your former first-round picks are now Pro Bowls on other teams.
Yeah. You know, man, it's a heartbreaking situation. When you think about the New York Jets, you know, 3 years ago, when we first signed Aaron Rodgers, you know, we had those guys on the team. You know, we had Sauce on the team, we had Quentin on the team, we had drafted them first round, we had hit on those guys, and something to be really proud of. And you know, the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, him getting hurt, you know, they ended up, you know, blowing the thing up ultimately. And blowing that thing up was trading these players away. And it's heartbreaking because it's so hard to hit on a guy in a draft. It's hard. It's more than likely they're going to be a bust, you know what I mean, or just not pan out. But when you draft a guy number one, first round, and that guy turns into a Pro Bowl caliber player who ends up earning an extension, you're thinking that you're creating the building blocks of what will be a championship, what will be a long run, what will be a 10-year career. But no, we draft them, we get them in there, they ball in, and then we trade them away just to do it all again, you know, with these new draft picks. It hurts, man. It hurts. And you look at the Jets. The Jets have not won a Super Bowl since 1969. And, you know, and this is why, man, we just can't put it together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we have peanut butter, no jelly, ham, no burger. It's like we always have one thing, but not the other. You know, we had a playoff roster for Aaron Rodgers. Then on the fourth play of the game, he gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? And that was that. You know what I mean? And then 2 years later, they just blow it up. You know what I mean? And now, you know, we're looking at, you know, possibly getting the top pick, number one pick, you know, top three pick. But it's heartbreaking, Steve, because those are good players, man. Those are good players. You know, Leonard, USC Trojan, went to the Jets, went to the Giants, the Seahawks. He's been balling, man. He's been doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Sauce Gardner was considered to be one of the better young quarterbacks in the league. Quentin Williams is just a disruptor. He's just a straight disruptor, athletic freak in the middle. Again, another guy that went to Dallas. They ain't doing nothing with that, but he's balling. But it hurts because it reminds you that, you know, the Jets are almost, you know, right there. We're almost right there. We're almost there. But that's been for the last 49 years, man. For 49 years, the Jets have been breaking my heart with this type of stuff. You know, Sam Darnold. I mean, come on, this dude out here balling. You know what I'm saying? So it hurts, man.
In 2 different years in 2 different cities, too.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So, I guess what I could say is the bright spot is the Jets scouting department is on point. The Jets scouting department is on point. They know how to pick them. They do. But when it comes to the coaching and the games and the winning, man, this is trash, man.
Not
But
anymore. Y'all fired Joe Douglas. We brought him back here to Philadelphia, man. So
yeah, Joe.
I firmly believe that was Joe Douglas right there. That was his thing when he was here in Philadelphia before he left and went over there to the Jets. I would question if you guys could repeat those type of hits again. But we will see what the next few years hold for your Jets. I hope with the picks you guys have accrued and things of that nature that you guys are in a better position to either trade or draft young talent. But missed this one from your cousin. Want to throw that up there, get that back into you.
What type of history, Marvin?
He's talking about with DK when we were just talking about DK. History with the fan.
So the fan in DK, DK had the same issue with the same fan. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. He had reported, it was actually when he was in Seattle with the Seahawks. That fan had went to a game in Seattle and was heckling DK more than what's acceptable, to be honest with you. So DK went ahead and filed a grievance, whatever it may be, against the guy to security. So there's history there. This guy has a history of coming at DK in a way that's inappropriate and over the top, which tells me that there's some type of footing here, some kind of traction for DK if he wants to take this, to court. I think he's already filed the appeal. I don't know what's come of that. But
he did file appeal, but they upheld the suspension regardless. I did see that, I think, last night or this morning.
Okay, so yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. That's 40 mil. At first I saw that because he's gonna miss 2 games, he's gonna miss $500,000. I thought that was a lot, right? But now you're talking about 40 mil is gonna be wiped away. Nah, man. People come up missing for that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's they do.
That's not just a bag. Right, that's not just a bag, man. That's a bundle of bags.
You think he was emotional then? You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, we talking about 40 M's? Come on, man. That's real. That's what I'm saying.
If he sees that dude again, you're going to see a reaction that we don't want to see out of one of our professional athletes. And I don't think anyone will blame him.
Exactly. I'm not advocating for that. I'm just telling you that in real human nature, you lose $40 million and you think it's because somebody else. You're gonna want to talk to that person.
It was in his contract, Eddie, that if he did anything like unbecoming that broke NFL policy, that it would void out all of his signing bonuses, his incentives, his guaranteed money would all disappear. So the Steelers protected themselves from if as you were sitting there saying, he has a history of fighting and stuff like that on the field. So they were protecting themselves financially if and when this situation happened. And that's why I said, like, listen, we also need to protect the athlete too. Like, yes, he should control himself, but at the same time, like, you got to know that these people out there, they trying to get you, man. They trying to get you acting out of character, and you can't just give into that no matter what is said. Like, like your cousin was saying, you got to get the thick skin, man. Especially being in the NFL, as many different people that come out there, as many different a-holes that we have here on this planet. You got to let people talk sometimes and just let it go.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Definitely easier said than done. But again, when you're the caliber of a DK Metcalf and you're making that kind of money and you just have that kind of status in the world, you got to be better than that, man. And hopefully, hopefully you have an agent, you have people who are talking to you, teaching you, mentoring you, preparing you for these moments. Because it's really sad. And if he ends up losing this money for real, if the Steelers, because the contract basically is, it gives them the right to take the money. Not that I don't think it just voids it automatically. I think they have the right to. And if they choose to do so, I mean, that's tough, man. That's tough business, dude. You know what I'm saying? But with that kind of money comes a certain expectation of professionalism and behavior. You know what I mean? With that kind of money comes, a certain expectation of, hey, listen, you're a high profile guy. That's why you're getting this big bag. but we need you to act right. You know what I'm saying? I would bet you this. I would bet you that type of language is in a lot of people's contracts, but you don't see it. You don't see it exercised because people ain't acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough call for DK, man. I hate that. If he thought he was called something racial, I can understand how disrespected he must have felt, just demeaning, man. That's a tough situation to be in, especially when you add in the emotions of the game. You know what I'm saying? And the fans already been talking. I mean, it's easier said to be done in regards to being cool, but you got to do it.
Got to do it. But was talking to your Jets, was giving you a hard time about that, but I want to give you a feel-good one. Have you heard what the Brickishaw Ferguson has been up to, right? He is now officially a registered nurse.
Yeah.
Now we were talking, a little bit ago. We had a former, Hall of Fame level wide receiver is now a sheriff, but now Brick's a registered nurse.
I love it.
Second career, second life, right?
I love it, man. I love it. Listen, from what I understand, his mom or his aunt or somebody in his family who was close to him, who had real impact with him, was a nurse. And in leadership, if you're raised under the idea of leadership, then you realize your whole purpose here is just to impact people and help people. And I love how this guy went out there, fulfilled his dream, being an All-Pro, Pro Bowl quarterback, offensive lineman, offensive tackle for the Jets. Had a great career with the New York Jets as a tackle, and now is just looking to fulfill another passion, and that's helping people, impacting people. Listen, it's one of those things where I'm happy to see this guy have a plan. I'm happy to see this guy, walk toward that plan, make this plan happen. I think it's inspiring. I think more former players need to see that, need to see guys transitioning in careers and going from one to the other. I love the fact that he's in nursing, which again, this isn't a high profile. I would say it's a decently paid profession for sure. Especially, if you get certain degrees and certain certifications, you're doing it long enough. Nurses definitely make money. But you don't do that job for the money. I think you have to have some kind of desire to want to help people out, man. I think that has to be in you. So I'm a sucker for kindness. I love to see people achieve their goals and their dreams. I think that the Brickishaw Ferguson is doing all that right now. I think he's showing leadership. I think he's showing kindness. I think he's showing, we can have an act two, do something different outside of, beating people up on Sundays. So it's a great story, man. And the thing about it is this: you have a lot of guys in the league that are doing that kind of stuff, that have moved on to successful second careers. You know what I'm saying? You don't always hear about it. What you hear about is the DK Metcalf stuff. That's what you hear about. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great story. Kudos to the Brickishaw. Speaks a lot to his humility as a man, just because he's a superstar athlete. That he's a rich superstar athlete, yet he chooses to serve and live a life of servitude. So I love it, man. And we need more people like him.
Yeah, we need more stories like that. And as long as we can get to it, I got another feel good story for you from the basketball side of things. But that's gonna be part of the hour two. We're gonna get to that. I want to get into like my second main topic of tonight, right? Or today. We've been talking about it a lot. The NFL Pro Bowl. Obviously, the Pro Bowl comes out this week, and man, there's a lot of nonsense going on. A lot of guys that should have got in that didn't get the vote or the secondary replacement votes. Even more so, like I've already said that the Pro Bowl is broken in so many different ways, from viewership, but now when you're watching the guys that are getting in, and I know there's fan votings and all that other stuff, that's fine and well. And in my opinion, I pay more attention all pro these days than I do Pro Bowl anything. But look at Chris Jones's comment. Missed the Pro Bowl with 15 and a half sacks. It just shows you, how the Pro Bowl is. He's playing to win rings. So I don't blame Chris for having that type of comment. Then you look at my Philadelphia Eagles. Now we got a bunch of guys on defense, and then with Zach Bond got in. Should absolutely been there. You had both Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell get Pro Bowl votes. Absolutely should get in there too. Quinyon Mitchell is one of the best young lockdown corners that we have, and Cooper DeJean is hands down blindfolded the best slot corner in the NFL right now. He hasn't even played 2 full seasons. Right now, here's my problem. Right, so first, Cam Jurgens gets voted to the Pro Bowl. How? Someone explain that one to me, because Cam ain't looked that great. He's still dealing with back injuries. Lane Johnson doesn't get in, injury plagued, all that. I get why he wouldn't get in. Tyler Steen ain't getting in, but Landon Dickerson doesn't get in. Obviously, again, we were talking about how inconsistent the Eagles' offensive line's been this year. So how does Cam Jurgens get in? And then going back to the defense for a fact, how in this planet does Jalen Carter get in over Jordan Davis? And that's my big thing for this one, because they asked Jordan Davis about this. Obviously, he was disheartened about it, but realized it's a selfish way to think. But take a step back when you see how he's played. He's satisfied. He's more than satisfied. Talked about the work that he's putting in every day. He's one of the last guys out of the facility at night. I've already said on another program, I feel that the biggest guy that has made an impression upon me on this season for my Philadelphia Eagles is Jordan Davis. He was special team player of the week. He was defensive player of the week a couple times as well. He has performed more than admirably without a Jalen Carter next to him. So there was a couple plays last week where he was double team, just shifts the line. The running back goes in the hole, rips off the block, and knocks the running back for a 3-4 yard loss. A couple times he did that last week. He has shown me he is all Pro Bowl level, but somehow Jalen Carter still gets the nod over Jordan Davis. The Pro Bowl voting is absolutely broken. The game is absolutely broken. They need to completely redo the way they go about this.
Yeah, and listen, let me tell you a sad story, man. In 1999, I was with the New Orleans Saints, Mike Dicker's New Orleans Saints, and that was the only year I had a chance to vote for the Pro Bowl. Okay, and when I got my Pro Bowl ballot, I thought about I was a rookie now. I was a young player. I voted for all my friends from USC. That are all throughout the National Football League. The problem with the Pro Bowl is there's no real standard, there's no metric, there's it's all subjective and eyeball test. You know what I'm saying? And in football, it's so much more than that. You know what I'm saying? You can have impact in a game and not get the ball. You can have tremendous impact in a game and not have a lot of tackles. You know what I'm saying? And you have to understand that. You know what I mean? Especially with guys with the big guys. Jordan Davis and those guys. So it's really unfortunate because a lot of these guys, their contracts are tied to Pro Bowl. So they get bonuses and incentives, if they make the Pro Bowl. So to have a hell of a season and not get in, because so many Eagles fans voted here or so many Jets fans voted. I mean, it's really unfortunate. The fact that they don't want to play the game anymore is a whole other conversation for me. When I was a kid, I was a football nerd. My dad played in 5 Pro Bowls, and I used to watch the Pro Bowl, every year. It used to be a real game. People don't understand. It used to be a real game, a physical game.
Sean Taylor ended that. Let's be honest. Sean Taylor ended that. Let's be honest.
I would say that the injury to Drew Brees had greater impact than Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor almost killed a boy out there. You're absolutely right. He did. He almost killed a boy on the sideline. I think it was a punter too. Was it a special team or a receiver?
Yeah, it was a special teams play. He murdered a punter.
Yeah,
murdered, but
looked like
that was an ESPN worthy jacked up type of hit.
People they used to blitz the quarterback, sack the quarterback, put you on the gurney and all that. It was a real game back in the 80s. And then you saw the game just change. So I hate that. But no, the voting portion of it is sad because you have a lot of players who are playing great football, playing good football, and it's just not being they're not being recognized. And again, that's impacting their pay, that's impacting their status. I don't know what the solution is. But again, the fact that
the solution, someone just needs to listen to me.
What is it?
All right. So no more. Let's not play it at the end of the year anymore, because 9 times out of 10, the guys that are voted in don't play because they're in the playoffs or they're in the Super Bowl, etc. Right. So let's do the voting after the Super Bowl at the end of the year, right? And then play the Pro Bowl at the Hall of Fame game and stop putting a pointless preseason game for it. No, it's the first preseason game, right? Do it then. When you have all these guys.
Steve, you can't tell they're trying to get away from physicality. The NFL, the game has evolved so much. I mean, you can't. I mean, what used to be a great hit, is now he's a dirty player. He's a dirty player. No, they're trying to have less contact, less hits to play the game at the beginning of the season. No, that's not realistic, man. Them boys, you get hurt, then you're out for the year. You know what I'm saying? They've gone to flag. They're doing flag, and they're doing all these games in Orlando and all this, broad jump and all that crazy. That's what they're doing now. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to get
it. If the Super Bowl works either, Eddie, because now that's in their vacation.
It's never coming back. It's never coming. It's done. It's a wrap. They're not doing Pro Bowl no more. Too many hits, too much contact. CTE killed all that. Will Smith and them people killed all that. You know what I'm saying? In that movie. So it's a sad day, man. Like I said, because for many years, many of us know it was a great game. You saw all the stars played in it. They all played. You know what I'm saying?
They were excited to play in it.
Played to win that bonus check, which mattered. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, them days is done, man. They've gone to powder puff and what do you call it? Tug of war. That's what they do now. They do tug of war instead of the game, and we're supposed to be satisfied with that, I guess.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think if anything, my idea might work, but like you said, it's hard because that's when you're trying to get back into shape and knock some of the rust off is kind of what I was thinking. And anyone that might have been injured has a whole off season to kind of get ready to be out there. So not only that is the players would be excited for it because you're doing it in connection with who's being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it's kind of like the Hall of Famers meeting the current stars of the game type of thing, and make it more about them than the actual game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you, man. Listen,
but I agree with you. I don't think I don't think they would do something like that because at that time everyone's with their teams, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna be pulling guys away from their teams when they're trying to get ready for the season. So it may not work, but I think, in my opinion, that is the only way you save this thing. The only way.
The fact that Chris Jones had 15 and a half sacks playing on the inside. This dude, he's not rushing the edge like TJ Watt every play, just sprinting off the ball. This dude plays in the middle. He plays zero technique, one technique, three technique. He got 15 and a half sacks and didn't go to the Pro Bowl. That's criminal. That's criminal. That's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible.
Like I said, it's broken on every end. It's just broken. There's nothing you can do to fix it now. It's what you would call in the boxing world a paper champion. Well, it's the fans are voting for it now, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. So, again, I pay more attention to All Pro anymore than the Pro Bowl, but you're stealing something from the fans. You're stealing something from the athletes.
Absolutely,
make it mean something again, man. Seriously, attach something to it where it has some actual meaning. That's the only reason why I said the Hall of Fame game, just because I think it's something that the players would kind of get behind. But we'll see if it's just going to wither away and die and disappear, or this is just going to be the new norm moving forward, right?
Yeah, the crazy part is, for as much as the NFL was talking about how they care about CTE, they was all good adding that 17th game, right? And let me tell you something else. They're going to add more games. So I can see the NFL growing this thing out in season and playoffs just because of the money they can make. But for games that don't count for championships, no more. You
might be right. It might be an AI game in the future, my friend. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah. That's real. It's real. That's
it is real. Want to get into a few Eagles topics before we kind of switch gears and head over to basketball and talk a little bit about that. And I do have two more actual football topics I do want to talk to you about. But came across this crazy stat, and I wanted to get your thought on it. You realize in 2 years in Philadelphia that Saquon Barkley has more rushing yards than he did 4 years in New York. Right? That's first off a crazy stat. Now, we were talking about, Saquon's just having this bad, he's having a bad year. He's having a down year. It's over 1,000 yards rushing already.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we still got 2 weeks to go. We'll see what that looks like. Granted, like
He has 1,000
yards
yards in 15 games. That's what you're saying?
He's got 1,000 yards as we said right now
in 15 games. Okay, that's okay. I'll give him okay.
I get it. He last year he at this time he's talking 1,700 yards. I get it. I do. Right, but he's not having a down year. He's coming back to earth. He had an earth-shattering year. He's ninth in rushing yards. He's 7th in rushing yards per game. He's still on pace at this point in time for 1,100, 1,200 yards for a season. His down years, some guys' career years.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
Listen, as hard as we on like he's just not hitting the home runs like he did at the rate he did last year. I get it. If anyone is missing it, especially me, the Eagles fan, but to sit there, he's lost a step. That like you guys need to stop hating on Saquon. I get it. We just sat there and I just listened to Sean McDermott's press conference, basically calling Saquon a Hall of Famer. I'm telling him to pump the brakes. Saquon's not a Hall of Famer yet. He's got a few more years where he has to have 15 plus touchdowns in multiple seasons before I'm going to sit there and call him a Hall of Famer. He's my running back on my team right now. He's not a Hall of Famer yet. He has Hall of Fame like talent. I will say that he's Absolutely. Not a Hall of Famer yet. He let Coach McDermott, love you, giving him the respect and props. Right, I get it. He's not a Hall of Famer yet. Stop it, Mr. McDermott.
Listen. I'm a guy in 3 years. Those are 3 teams, and in my career, I have 1 carry for 1 yard. So I have a tremendous amount of appreciation and respect for Saquon Barkley and what he's doing, without question. The problem is he's a victim of his own success. You know what I mean? He's so electrifying. He's so amazing. He was coming off that 2,000-yard season, Super Bowl season. Mm-hmm. I mean, this guy, we saw this guy just make play after play. We saw him separate in the playoffs and just put you guys in a great position. He's a victim of his own success. Coming out of New York, huge market. He was top draft pick out of Penn State. He's been a big name his whole career. He was a big name at Penn State. He was a big name in New York. Obviously, he's a champion who had a career year with the Eagles last year. So, it's just the fans wanting more. We want more. We want to see it again. And I think when you don't see him make those same kind of runs, you don't see him have the same kind of highlights. And he's had highlights this year, believe me. Mm-hmm. It's just, fans talk, man. That's what it is. We can't get enough. They can't get enough. And they don't want to hear anything else. But the numbers are saying, if you're telling me he has 1,000 yards already in 15 games, I mean, by every other standard, especially nowadays, where we throw the ball a little bit, and Jalen, he throws the ball a little bit. That's good. That's productivity. You know what I'm saying? You getting your money's worth. You know what I'm saying? And Saquon's a lot more than just a runner. People don't recognize Saquon can block. You ever watch him pick up the blitz? That dude's physical. I mean, no, I'm saying he's a complete back. I mean, most fans just watch him run the ball. You know what I'm saying? But Saquon's a complete back.
I still think my favorite thing about him is, dude, his excitement for his teammates. When Tank Bigsby scored that touchdown after he had a big run, right? He had a big run, calls him out. Next run, boom, Tank Bigsby puts it in the end zone. He's running down the sideline more jacked up than anyone else on the field. He is the ultimate teammate, and I think that's one of the things that, like, as much as he does on the field, that's one of the things I really enjoy watching him is even some of the sound bites you've seen from last season. He could have broke his the single game rushing record. Sat out the entire third quarter to let the other guys eat. Let the twos and threes get some touches, get some hands on it. So he is a professional in all aspects, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's really championship culture. You know what I'm saying? When you're really happy for the other people on the team. That's part of what, great culture is. You know what I'm saying? And he's a guy, he's got the bag, he has a ring. He's already, as we said earlier, he's already, being talked about for Hall of Fame. So he recognizes where he is in his career. But, I think Saquon's always had a certain aspect of humility. If you watch any of his interviews from Penn State, he was always, confident, but a team-oriented guy. You know what I'm saying? He always speaks of team about team. So it doesn't surprise me that he's beloved the way he is. It doesn't surprise me that he's had the success that he has. It doesn't surprise me that he's one of the main cogs in that Eagles offense, and they're doing really well. So that I think that's just who he is. I think that's who the Eagles are bringing on board. And it's good to see that from your star player. When your star player is happy for everybody else and encouraging everybody else, that's contagious. You see it, you feel it, and it becomes who you are as a team.
So what do you think about Eddie's comment here? How many Hall of Fame season does a player need? Hall of Fame type season does a player need to have to be considered a Hall of Famer? Not counting someone like a Terrell Davis or a Gale Sayers, cut short by injuries, etc. And his next one is he say 6 or 7 type seasons are needed.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, really, when it comes not just to season, but how many years were you him? How many years were you that dude? You know what I'm saying? How long? That's how I really look at it. I don't have a problem with these guys with shorter careers making it to the league because Terrell Davis, running back for the Broncos, was the truth. He was the truth. You know what I'm saying? And you look at the top 3 or 4 years of his career, he was balling. You know what I'm saying? Gale Sayers, I mean, like this, people today still talk about Gale Sayers, which tells you everything. You know what I'm saying? The fact that his name keeps coming up should tell you enough, because since Gale Sayers, we've had a plethora of amazing running backs, but we keep hearing Gale Sayers' name. So
I hear Gale Sayers' name more than I hear Walter Payton's name, and Walter came after him.
Yeah,
Walter won a Super Bowl, right? So it's
right.
like the fact that we still and Gale returned kicks too.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a special guy. I get it, man. So
I've heard Gale Sayers compared to Reggie Bush in college, which is saying a lot.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's the comparison I've heard, which blows my mind, but I'm with it, and it makes sense because again, if you that caliber player, Reggie Bush, not just being a Heisman Trophy winner, a generational player, you don't get those every single year. You don't see those; they're not in college football every single year. So to compare him to him, then that makes sense. And that's why, we keep hearing his name, because he was special like that.
He was special like that. And speaking of special, kind of goes right into my next thing, right? We talk about all this hate that Jalen gets. Let's look at it. His first 5 years, 5 playoff berths. He's the only the 6th quarterback to do it in his first 5 seasons. 3 division titles, 2 Super Bowls, parents a Super Bowl victory, right?
Yeah.
Kind of start putting some respect on his name. Like we were just talking about Lamar. Now Lamar's won multiple MVPs. I get that. He don't show up in January. Jalen has been there every year, and only 6 quarterbacks has done that in history. Not only that, he's done it with 4 different offensive coordinators, which never has been done. As much as we like to nitpick at some of the things that we don't like about Jalen, and all of us do it here in Philadelphia, the sports media, us football nerds, there are some things we'd like to see Jalen do better. But the guy just finds ways to win and is consistent with it. 5 years in the league, 5 playoff berths.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think for Jay, and I've asked myself that question many times. We've discussed him many times, and I'm trying to figure this out. I think a lot of it, honestly, has to be with his genuine core confidence that allows him just to be humble and kind of lay back and not react. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think when you're really confident and you really believe, I think you're less likely to be emotional. I think you're less likely to feel like you have to fit in and do a Russell Wilson and you kind of just lose yourself trying to redefine yourself. I think this dude is really locked in. I think he's really locked in. I think he hears the noise, but he recognizes his noise. He doesn't respond and react the way that we'd want. He doesn't give us those crazy sound bites, in my opinion. I think me, and I think maybe it's other people as well, I think we're just kind of thrown off, and maybe we don't like the fact that he doesn't give you too much. You know what I'm saying?
He doesn't fit the mold that we all have for what the quarterback is.
Exactly. He doesn't. He doesn't give you that, man. He's more of the quiet storm, confident dude who's just getting it done and unaffected by the outside noise. He's just winning games. He's just winning games. He's just consistently putting himself in categories of other great of quarterbacks. When you're looking at certain stats and all this kind of stuff, it's crazy to see his name mentioned amongst some of the best in the game today and best of all time already. You know what I'm saying? Really, this is the crazy part, Steve. At what point are we talking about a Hall of Fame career for Jalen Hurts?
I'm not. I don't want to get there yet. I don't want to get there
yet. You ain't ready for that?
Like, look, he's my guy. He's my quarterback, right? And very impressed with what he's done in 5 years. But
is he Eagles Hall of Fame right now? Is he Eagles Hall of Fame right now?
Because he won a Super Bowl, he has to be like Ring of Honor type thing.
Yeah.
He has to. He has to. I think he has to at least hit 30,000 yards passing. He has to throw for over 350 touchdown passes. Some like those are kind of the numbers you hit with Hall of Fame type guys, right? So those are the numbers that I have to sit at: 35,000, 350 plus TD passes. But the other thing we've already talked about is the total touchdowns is gonna start creeping up there because of what he does in the running game. Now I've already broken it. He has 33 push touchdowns, but he still has another 25 plus regular rushing touchdowns that aren't just like your quarterback sneaks and stuff like that. So he is a dual threat, and I've been sitting there saying like he performs best in the RPO when he has the threat to run. He doesn't have to run it every time. If he has 7 to 8 carries a game where he hits you with that with that our RPO fake it to it roll out, where he has the option to either run throw it away or hit something to wide receiver, tight end, etc. That's when he's the most dangerous. And I think if he keeps using that part of his game and they protect him in the right way and he's still consistent for another 5 years, then yeah, we could start talking about golden jacket and all that other stuff. Now we had a question in here in the chat: is Jackson Dart, I guess, Pro Bowl worthy, good player, whatever? Jackson Dart isn't in the Pro Bowl. He's not on the alternate list. I think his problem is right now he's on a terrible team.
Yeah.
With a terrible franchise. He is a very exciting player. He needs to, as of right now, way I'm looking at it, not as an Eagles fan, just as a fan of football, he needs to change his style ASAP, or he's going to give himself CTE.
Yeah.
He's been in the blue tent, I think, 6 times already this season. He's missed games because of concussions, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to have that extra part of your game, that fiery moxie guy that's not scared to take the hit, not from your quarterback, not from a guy that important.
These quarterbacks, these dudes don't train and lift like defenders do. Okay, they don't. These quarterbacks are doing rubber bands. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, the Tom Brady, the T40, the T whatever his thing is called. You know what I'm saying? T12, TB12, TB12. These safeties can kill you. A linebacker,
they be running through walls, man.
He's playing this Pop Warner game out there, going heads up and trying to run dudes over, bro. Let me tell you something. The human body ain't made for football at all, and these quarterbacks ain't built to take on the kind of hits that he's trying to generate and create. So if he plans on playing this game, playing in this league a long time, he better change. He better learn how to slide. If it ain't the playoffs or for the chip, you have no reason going head up with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. This, but he's a young player. I like Jackson Dart. I do.
I like him too. Even though obviously he's a giant, and there's that.
Before he was a giant, he was a Trojan. Just so you know, he went to USC. He was our starter. He was very good for us. He got hurt, lost his position. Then he went to Ole Miss. He's a good player. The boy can play, and I think he has moxie. I think he's tough, and he has an arm. He's a player, but
not just moxie. Like he has a persona that is built for New York. I will say, like we were just talking about Jalen. He is built for Philadelphia because he's unflappable. There's nothing you can say to get him act out of character. But he is absolutely built for New York in a lot of different ways. So
yeah, Utah boy.
Who's going? I think you're asking us who your boys are going to pick. Listen, listen, there's a lot of things you need. If I'm the Giants, I find somebody who's got a lineman that they don't want to pay. I trade back. I get some picks. Find a team that maybe looking to get another quarterback or something like that. They want to get. Make sure you get the most out of that top spot. You have the quarterback. You have the running back. You have the wide receiver. Right. Protect him. Go get yours. Go look at what happened with the Bears this year. They went and got 4 different offensive linemen that were not on the team last year, and look what Caleb Williams is. He is. I think he's less than 300 yards away from 4,000 yards. That is a Chicago Bears quarterback has never thrown for 4,000 yards in the history of this league. So look at that formula, right? And do something like that. I would not draft the number 1 overall pick. I would find somebody you can take their next 2, possibly 3 year pick, get a good tackle, a good guard, something to protect Jackson with. You need to protect him and keep him up. What we were just sitting there saying, he's putting his body at risk because there's too much stuff going around him.
Yeah, definitely got to get Scatterboo healthy because that's how you also protect them with a good run game. So you're right. I mean, you want to protect your quarterback from the inside out. Get that O-line short up. Get that running back healthy. They have some receivers. They got to receive out there.
I don't know about Archie. I think Jackson has a better run game and a better arm. I think Archie has a way better football mind. If you have to talk about.
Yeah. I wouldn't. Archie Manning. Archie Manning's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So the Bears. The Bears running back has good help, but they have a great offensive line now. That you still Joe Thuney from Kansas City last year, right?
Yeah. It was a good pickup for them. Listen, in the run games picked up. That's just helping Caleb. I mean. The Bears are just getting started.
He's missed too many games, man. He's missed too many games to get that one.
Rookie of the year? Nah, not yet. Nah, not this year.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. You Eddie, man. What are you trying to do? You trying to get Marvin all riled up for that? I don't think they need to trade. They're drafting at the worst 4, right? They're drafting at the worst 4. So
for the Jets,
why would they trade the capital they built up? The only way they're trading that is if you're going to unless the Jets are going to be getting something outside of just drafting at the number 1 overall spot. They could just wait three spots. We were just talking about, all right, so, obviously we know the Jets need the quarterback, right? You already know that the Giants aren't going to be picking a quarterback, so why would you trade with them?
Yeah.
I don't think the Jets would be the guys that the Giants trade with. I don't.
Yeah. I don't see that, to be honest with you. But I mean, we've seen crazier stuff in the draft, man. And the Jets, we've seen crazier stuff. I don't know, but the Jets absolutely need a quarterback. That is for sure. That's the real deal.
That's the one I got circled. And we're speaking of quarterbacks, right? So we were talking about yesterday the parity of the NFL this year. It's probably been the most surprising thing across the board, right? Let me ask you this one. The fact that no Joe Burrow, no Patrick Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson. If the Buffalo Bills do not win the Super Bowl this year or not in the Super Bowl this year, we have to have a conversation about Josh Allen's greatness. Do we not?
Something, I think that the Bills wouldn't be what they are without Josh Allen. They'll make a discussion out of it because who's left, at that point. You're talking about the elite quarterbacks of that conference, and it would be hard to imagine, to be honest with you, you would think that Buffalo would have the advantage. But I'm gonna tell you something, Bo Nix, them boys in Denver is the real deal, man. They got a defense. Sean Payton got his young gun quarterback looking good.
They beat us in our house. That's all I got. It was a close game, right?
Yeah.
They beat us in our house, and I think we've only lost 2 games this season in Lincoln Financial Field.
I think Jim Harbaugh, his squad gonna have something to say. I do. I think D'Amico Ryans, his squad going to have something to say. So let me say this to you. Yeah, with Mahomes and Burrow and Jackson possibly not all making the playoffs, it does open up a path, but there are no easy games in the NFL.
Oh,
you got up and coming teams. I mean, you got the teams I just mentioned can all beat your butt. Who wants to play against that Houston defense? Who wants to play against that Denver defense and that athletic, Bo Nix? You know what I'm saying? Harbaugh's team out in LA, them Chargers.
Yeah, we were talking about the Jags. No one, not people talking about the Jags, man.
Yeah, because it's the Jags. The Jags are gonna have to get to a Super Bowl for people to really get over that mental hump with them. You know what I'm saying? Trevor Lawrence is gonna have to really show that he can be an elite quarterback, can win the division, win the conference, play for the big game. I mean, you get into the big game, that's a different deal. But I don't think we look at Josh Allen any different if he doesn't go this year. He's shown us enough. In my opinion, he's done it with a bunch of no-name receivers, in my opinion.
He reminds me of this early in his career, Donovan McNabb.
I can see that. Yeah.
Except that he is a total well-rounded dual threat type of guy.
Yeah, he's better than McNabb, and I love McNabb.
Yeah. McNabb's my guy. Don't get me wrong.
100%. But
with what he has on that side of the ball, that's why I said he reminds me of the situation Donovan was in those first few seasons.
Right. Yeah, no. But if he doesn't go, listen, Josh Allen won me over. He's won me over. I thought he'd be a bum going into the league. He had big-time accuracy issues. And in my opinion, you don't go to the NFL if you're not accurate. You know what I'm saying? That should be one of the main things you have. But he got better. His game evolved. It did. And this dude is the real deal. So I'm a Jet. But just as a football fan, I have tremendous respect for Josh Allen. He is the truth. I wish the Jets had him.
So we're getting more questions in from the chat. So he's talking about Ty Simpson wants to know if
the Alabama quarterback.
Yeah, is he going to be is he going to beat the number one team in college football?
They play Indiana. Hold on. Yeah, they play who? No, Alabama plays Ohio State. Who do they play?
I didn't look at the bracket after the wins this week. I think
this is the truth. He's the truth. The quarterback from Alabama is the real deal. I like him a lot. I think he'll be a good pro. Have you seen him play? He's good.
No. See, I haven't sat there and actually watched it. So I'm going to take your word off of this one.
Oh yeah. He's nice. He's not Fernando Mendoza, who I think should be the number one pick quarterback for Indiana. I only saw him play one time, and that was against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. And that boy is the truth. He's the truth, man. That dude, he's mobile, strong arm, accurate, tough. I saw him take some real shots. Great demeanor, understands leadership. Yeah, he's the real deal. I think Ty Simpson will go after him.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. He is a one-man team, but they have a nice dual threat with James Cook. It's going to be fun. But Eddie thinks Indiana is going to beat Bama. So that's
going to be a great game.
That is, especially because seeing that Bama was down. What was it, 17 to Oklahoma, and just storms right back. So they're like, no, you ain't gonna walk all over us like that. So Bama's resilient, man. So you gotta. You got to see what's going to happen with that. And
Caleb DeBoer's under a lot of heat, a lot of speculation, a lot of pressure coming out to Saban. He's a good coach, man. That dude's a good coach. You know what I mean? So,
we'll see how the draft class goes. We got a whole 2-3 months before we kind of really get into start breaking that stuff down, Eddie, and we will. I guess the topic of this, outside of what's been going on the field, is hearing that the Chicago Bears is going to be leaving Soldier Field, and they're going to not be there anymore. And Kansas City is also moving from Kansas City, and
Yeah.
they're gonna have a dome stadium now in Kansas, and apparently fewer seats, more luxury boxes, which is not surprising considering how much that team has increased their overall value. Is it upsetting watching the potential that in the next 5 years that there's going to be no Bears at Soldier Field. There's going to be no Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium.
Well, the worst part about it is it's going to be a dome, and part of playing, the fan experience was, and even the player experience.
Stadiums, man. Open air stadiums.
Absolutely. But what this is the NFL, and these teams wanted to put out a better product, wanting
to have the Super Bowl. Should we say that loud?
Ultimately, yeah, that's what it comes down to. I mean, that's big money, huge money. So they want to create a venue and experience that the NFL will like, and they could bring a Super Bowl in there. But I hate it, man. Just I think if you're a Bears fan, you like the fact that the other team has to play in the elements. They have to play outside. You like when these teams come up, from Tampa or from wherever in Florida, having to play in Soldier Field, at Soldier Field. It's a huge advantage for Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's a huge advantage for KC.
I think the Chicago thing is like their sideline heaters aren't working. They're trying to get a lot of these upgrades, and they're having problems getting it done. And I think that's the main reason for Chicago. I think the Kansas City Chiefs fans should absolutely be upset about this potential thing happening. But as we were sitting there talking about it, it's a business, man. This is how everything's going.
It's not a game, it's a business. It's not a sport, it's a business. And y'all gotta understand that. So when every decision that's going to be made for these teams and these organizations will be based on what's profitable. Period. That's not your feelings, not how long you've had season tickets, not your favorite autographed jersey by whoever it may be. It's business. If them people can make money, then people will get that bag. Period. That's just what it is. That's the American way. Capitalism has no mercy. They don't care about your fandom.
Man, football guy, I wish you waited till Ben was here to ask this question. Is FSU gonna make the playoffs next year?
The Florida State Seminoles?
Yeah, FSU. I think that's exactly what that was. I would say no.
I'd say no. They don't. I mean, there's nothing about that program that makes you feel like they're ascending.
Didn't they just fire one of the former players that was running and helping with the defense?
I don't know. They had a top 20 recruiting class a couple weeks ago. They did. So they got some players coming in there, but this team won like 3 games this year, 4 games, right? I mean, what are you talking about? This was a collapse.
They're gonna have to have a Deshaun Jackson like turnaround if they want to even sniff the potential of making the playoffs. Football guy, I'm sure that's your team and all. Like you need a dose of reality. They need to have not only that recruiting class to be amazing, but they actually have to get on the field and make a difference ASAP. And the likelihood of hitting on more than a handful of those guys isn't very high to get them on the field next season. Now, maybe in 2 years we could sit there and have the conversation where they could potentially do it, but they have to take that first step on winning more than 5 games. So,
yeah, 100%.
I don't even think that. Listen, I love what Bryce Young has done. He went from basically, what was it, 2-3 years ago, he was the bust, right? To I don't have him at a Lamar level yet. We have to see what Bryce Young is going to do in this year's playoffs first. How he performs, not if the team wins or loses, how he performs, and then we can start having discussions of putting him into some of those elite conversations.
Lamar Jackson is a 2-time league MVP. They don't give that trophy away. They don't make mistakes with the league MVP that covers the whole season. You know what I'm saying? This is you having to be dominant and be him for 16, 17 games. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't the 1 year or the 1 game Super Bowl MVP that Eli won, that people say is the reason why he should be in the Hall of Fame. No. Lamar Jackson is a different caliber of player. Bryce Young is getting better. Lamar Jackson has arrived. Bryce Young is still trying to get there. Would you agree?
Like I said, we got to see a larger meal plate from Bryce before we start having him into those elite conversations. Yeah. Now, I want to quickly switch gears here to basketball real fast. I want to get your thoughts on a couple things. We just had, the NBA Cup, right? Charles Barkley is not a fan of this in-season tournament and actually says it's somewhat embarrassing. What are your thoughts on the in-season cup tournament? Do you feel it brings excitement? Do you think it brings any value to the NBA? What are your overall thoughts on this one, my friend?
Yeah, they're trying to build the season up earlier and make relevant games earlier and give these guys a chance to make a little bit more money in this process, I guess, as the winner of it gets some extra money. But I think that the old model is still the model. And I think, why are you getting away from, you have an all-star game, you have playoffs, and you have a championship. You're the NBA. You're an international game. You have international stars. I don't think it's necessary. To me, it is almost embarrassing because you know why? It's not even super clear to all the casual fans about, what it's really about. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was a marketing ploy, an opportunity to bring some more eyes on the game, which, I get that. But I think it waters down your overall purpose and what you are and what you're doing, man. I don't think you need, pomps and circumstances and new cool things at all. I think the NBA was fine the way it is. If you want to increase viewership, then eliminate, load management and eliminate, these teams tanking, do something about that. And do something about all these 3-point shots that everybody's taking that people are tired of seeing. Fix the game itself. I don't think adding this new NBA Cup.
I think if you do anything right, get rid of the cup first and foremost. Let's start with that.
Yeah,
and start implementing what you see the NFL was doing. Take over internationally. The only time you really kind of get to grow the game like that is with the Olympics in every 4 years, right? So if you're going to do anything with them, have these teams go on international tours through the season. Have them playing in Spain, have them play in Brazil, have them playing in Australia, have them playing in London. Like that's what you should be doing to kind of help grow the game.
Right.
And I'm with you about fixing the game too. Like I think we're all sick of load management,
the 3-point shots, Steve. Too many damn shots. Everybody shoots. That's all they do. There's no inside game. What happened to the inside game? What happened to the paint? What happened to taking it to the hole? You know what I'm saying? Like we don't do that no more. Your boy.
Not only that, like even when you see guys hit the hole, like I watched a play, like I seen it, about a month ago. I swear to God, I seen Giannis take like 10 steps. No traveling. Give referees know what the hell they're doing, man. Like, and I hear you. I miss the inside game. I always be a fan of the big centers. You know what I mean?
Not the big centers. Iverson would have 35 points with no threes. He'd have 20 points in the paint. You know what I'm saying? The guy was the shortest guy on the court. You know what I mean? Let's go back to that.
Man, Allen was a rare one. I think there's gonna be a long time before we see a guy with the.
I know
he was a true definition of a honey badger, man. He just did not care. Did not. You gonna knock me to the court every time I'll go to layup? So what? He's gonna go in, or I'm gonna get my free throws. Like he was a rare talent, and so I don't know if it was just like how these guys are taught basketball, the mentality of it is because of how the game's played today, whatever, man. I'm almost sitting there saying like, maybe we should start calling some of these shots depending where on those count for more points than the three ball, so to speak. Do something to kind of encourage the game the way it used to be played, man. Like I'm not sitting there saying like we need to do everything inside the paint, but do something to get fans excited again. Because like I've been sitting there saying, like, we talked about this before. Like what we're seeing retirement tours for this era of basketball players. We're probably within the last 2 to 3 seasons of the LeBron era. Y'all are in some real trouble if y'all don't have some of these guys become marketable, exciting players to watch. Now SGA in the Thunder, did their thing last year. Having the Indiana Pacers be another relevant team is another thing again. New York Knicks, starting to find their way back into the playoffs and being an excited team is a very important thing. I think when you have those teams on each side of the coast that are exciting, that's a plus. But you also need to get Middle America teams, into the mix too. I think when you have a balance there, you can see what happens. But
yeah,
the NBA's got a lot to fix, both in game, policy wise, how it's promoted, all of that. I think they have a lot to do because if you're asking me, out of the big four sports, there are three right now. And that wasn't always the case. They were literally neck and neck with the NFL for the longest time. And if you look at just a ratings point of a time, this we're talking about Christmas. This is where the NBA used to kick everyone's butt in the ratings, right? They don't happen no more. That hasn't happened in the last 3 years at least. So you have to get back to that. Go ahead, Marvin.
No, I was just saying because you're talking about of the pro sports. I'm wondering, does the NBA make more money than college football? I don't know. I mean, because that's one of the metrics I'm looking at. How much money are you bringing in?
NCAA football makes more money than what the NBA brings in right now. I guarantee it.
College football makes more money than the NBA?
I guarantee it.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, so
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I guarantee you, I might have to do that after we get off the air.
That's really that's the metric to look at. How much business are you really generating? That's going to tell you what the real interest is. And if you mix in college football, college basketball, I mean, I'd say the NBA is more successful than college basketball, but they're not bigger than college football, I don't think at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have, and the other thing is some like we talk about those load management stuff. You're not always seeing.
Yeah,
so people don't tune in.
Man, Jordan was playing 80, 81 games a year, consecutive years. What are we doing? It's weird. It's a different time, man. But
it is a different time.
It's a different time. We got more information. These guys have been taught. These athletes have been taught to be more business minded, which impacts you as a player because now you're trying to take care of yourself so you can keep signing those contracts. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, one of the guys from this era, I love to make fun of here in Philadelphia. Mr. Ben Simmons has officially announced he is concentrating on pro fishing. He is no longer seeking an NBA contract with an NBA team. He's going to be concentrating on professional fishing. Well, at least we don't have to worry about him scared of taking layups underneath the net. The Ben Simmons stories is unreached potential. Whether his mental well-being was another issue that played into it, but at the end of the day, if fishing is what make him happy and he wants to do it professionally, more power to you, Ben.
Yeah. Listen, there's an emotional side to this for me. I have an opinion about him. But the truth is this, he's a human being. He went through his process. I think you're right. You hope that he's in a good position mentally. You hope that in spite of how his career went, in spite of how he was perceived, in spite of the labels that have justifiably been attached to him, you hope that he's been able to find some peace. And if fishing is his new thing, if fishing is what's going to make him feel good, if fishing is going to keep him off the ledge, if fishing is going to, keep him sane, and man, more power to you, brother. Go live your life.
Exactly. Go live your life. And living their life is something that Alonzo Mourning has done, and he is doing something in the state of Florida that I think is absolutely amazing. That he has built a $37 million complex for seniors, with the rent just being $322 a month. There's a cyber cafe, a gym, a dog park, all exclusive for the seniors down in Florida. We were talking about good stories early in the program. This is one of them right here, my friend. Alonzo Mourning, amazing basketball player, Hall of Fame type level guy. Seeing him do something like this is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, again, we need more stories like this because the reality is a lot of these guys, they go back to their communities. and they have impact. Alonzo was a great player for the Heat. He's beloved down in South Florida, and it's great to see him, partnering up with whoever he partnered up with to put together these opportunities for seniors. Listen, the housing crisis is a real thing. You have a lot of seniors who are being pushed out, don't have the income, haven't saved the money. Some of the prices that we're dealing with right now, cost of living is really tough. So, it's great that he found an opportunity to fill a need and have impact. Love these stories. There are so many more of these stories out there that we don't talk about. So, kudos to Alonzo, and hopefully, that'll impact other players to have other impact out in the communities.
I actually got a comment on my TikTok live here about the Christmas games. We were actually talking about this yesterday. Who are you liking? Cowboys, Commanders. I'm liking the Cowboys over the Commanders there. Lions versus Vikings, definitely like the Lions there, and Broncos, Chiefs. I'm going with Broncos over Chiefs, especially the fact that now Kansas City's now down to their third string quarterback who wasn't even on the team as of last week. So, what are your feelings on the Christmas slate for the NFL?
It's a miss, man. It's a swing and a miss, I think, just because these teams aren't really relevant now. I think most of these teams are mathematically eliminated. Denver's going to the playoffs. The Chiefs are just, they're done. The Detroit has laid an egg this season. They don't have the caliber of team they need to do anything. And then with Dallas, we had that conversation. Dallas is the coulda, shoulda, woulda. Jerry's spending all the money. They get all the attention. And right now they're looking at being at home with me and you, Steve. Seriously,
That's right. And we're talking about it's a business, it's a money. I wanted to get to that comment since somebody put that up, but I want to get back to basketball real fast. Now, I've recently seen that the WNBA has looking to increase their pay, and the players still want absolutely nothing to do with this proposed new increased salary for the WNBA. If I'm the players, one thing I do not want to do is have a lockout. I do not want to have a lockout. What I would say is whatever they're offering, accept it, but you give them a 1-year deal. You agree to a year under the upgraded amount from what they're offering you. But whatever you do not have a lockout. If you have a lockout, they are going to lose any cachet, any momentum that they have if you're the WNBA. Do you agree with that? Like, even if you're not happy with it, right, take a 1 year. Don't do anything more than a year. Just get you through from now until the next season.
Yeah, listen, people don't want to hear this, but the reality is they're not making the league itself is not making money like that.
They should be getting paid better. I will say that, but you're still in the red. You're still in the red.
Yeah,
you can't be sitting there demanding these things when you're still in the red.
Like, with most businesses, when you start out, you're not making any money. You don't take anything home. You're just paying the bills and trying to expand the business. This is the WNBA. They're not profitable like that. They're not making money like that. These girls are hanging out with the NBA players and hanging out with the other athletes, and they see how they living and what they getting, and they think, yeah, we should be like them. We deserve to be like them. Honey, there's a process. It's a business. You're not bringing in enough money to demand what y'all want. Can y'all make more money? I guess, but I guess my question would be, how relevant are you guys without Caitlin Clark? What kind of numbers are y'all doing without Caitlin? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your attendance like? What are the TV numbers?
They have been losing money hand over fist, Eddie. And not just that, is that the NBA supplements everything that they're doing right now.
Right.
So we were just getting done telling you that the NBA isn't nearly as popular and they're not pulling in nearly as money as they used to. What do you think that means that the money they have to extend to the WNBA? Again, with the collective bargaining agreement being up in the air, take the 1-year deal. Take the minor upgrade. Take the 1-year deal and start making a difference in the viewership and the dollars that you bring in, and then come back to the table next year. Yes, has it exploded with with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and Aja Wilson is an absolutely amazing talent. What I think she's the current 3-time champion, 3-time MVP. You have some players there. Don't throw this momentum away. Is all I'm going to say. You go on strike, you're going to rip down everything that you've built over the last handful of years. You need a Caitlin Clark. You need an Angel Reese. You need to get a few more of these high caliber female basketball players to get into the WNBA if you really want to sit there and push all your chips in to potentially ask for some of these things.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's an unfortunate situation because they're becoming popular, but it's not equating to profits, and they're not at the position where they think they are, and they have a ways to go. Listen, these girls today, whether it's the NBA, WNBA, they have so many opportunities to make money, off the court. I mean, social media, the digital world. There's so many opportunities for these people to make money and to build off their platform, WNBA, and to grow at the same time. So that's where they need to be. I hope that the Players Association for the W is having honest conversations with them about where they are financially and just what's realistic. I think a lot of these girls, they get online and, in these interviews, they're wearing these T-shirts that are just ridiculous, which tells me they don't understand their own business. They don't understand where their money comes from and how they put that pot together so they can get paid. So, I highly encourage the players just to be more informed, be better informed, and just to put themselves in a position to grow that league, not stop it. You don't need any stoppages. A strike or anything like that would be horrible for your momentum, and it would allow room for other sports to jump in there and take your spot. You know what I'm saying? So. And that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Mm-hmm. It is. I'm always be pro athlete, but in this case, knowing how their league's set up, knowing where everything is, don't think you guys got more cachet than you have right now. Take a 1-year deal, come back to the table next year, and try to get another better deal that way. If you're not happy with it, I get that, but you still have a ways to go. I'll reiterate, just sign a 1-year CBA and come back to the table next year. You guys are on the cusp, but you're not there yet. Once you get out of the red, then you really can start having those type of conversations from where you were to where you are now. But other than that, listen, ladies, I love what you've accomplished over the last handful of years. You still got a ways to go. I get, as you were sitting there saying, I get you see what some of the other guys are, but they don't have a league supplementing everything they do. They pay for their own ride, so to speak. So. You guys are almost there, and it has blown up in popularity, without a doubt, but it's not quite there yet. And Marvin, you're right. They have other avenues. Look what Angel Reese has done. Now, she isn't the best player in the WNBA, but you take Caitlin Clark, and no one's talking about Aja Wilson. No, they're talking about Angel Reese. Yeah. She her shoe line, all this other stuff that she's doing. She is making the most out of what she has, and she's still not happy with what's going on. So either way, I think they all have an opportunity now. Don't throw it away with the lockout. That's all I'm saying about that. I love what they're doing. They're not quite there yet. Take the 1-year deal. Come back to the table next year.
Yeah, 100%. Keep that thing moving forward. Don't lose your momentum. You got a spark. You got some players that have big names that are doing well for you guys. Don't mess that up. You guys are still growing, and ultimately, you don't want to hear this, but ultimately, the players today may be the ones who sacrifice for the players tomorrow, so it can be what you want it to be. That's the reality of how these kind of things go. So.
Yep. Now, last one before we wrap this one up, back to football. They come across this list, and now this isn't the best all time or whatever. This is Tom Brady's, top 8 list of arm talent. Best arms that we've ever seen in the NFL. You start, Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Matthew Stafford, Jeff George. Jeff George had an absolute rocket. Randall Cunningham, Michael Vick, and he has the aforementioned Josh Allen. Now, we are just talking arm talent. We're not talking about Super Bowl wins. We're not talking about dual threat. We're just talking about, having a thunderbolt for a left arm or a right arm, right? Is there anyone you would like to add to Tom's list? Is there someone that's missing, or someone you don't feel that should belong there altogether? What do you think about TB12's arm talent top 8?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with all these quarterbacks. I've seen them all play as a football fan. Without question, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford probably lead that list for me. In regards to arm talent, just being able to make all the throws, all the angles, whether it's a precise throw, whether it's a hard throw, whether it's a deep throw, whether you have, a sharpshooter or you have a cannon. The guys I just mentioned there, I can't think offhand of anybody who should be on that list that's not. And I'm spinning my wheels right now. I'm going through the Rolodex.
I went through it too, and I was like, I don't think there is anyone I would name. And he even got Jeff George, who, man, if he could have put it all together, because he had a rocket launcher for an arm.
Man, I remember Jeff George when he was in Illinois, when he was at the University of Illinois in Champaign, playing against USC, and boy, he was good. He was good, and he had a good. And I thought in the pros he was decent. He played a long time in the NFL for the Colts and a few other teams, but. Yeah, I think Tom has it right.
The Falcons. He had some nice time down there in Atlanta.
Yeah. Before I got here, but yeah, Jeff George was a good quarterback. He was.
And Randall, we already know that.
I don't know that I put Randall. I mean, I could put Mike Vick on that list.
I think Eddie found the one we forgot.
Who? Oh,
Elway.
Yeah. I would have no problem with Elway on that list. Elway was my GOAT as a kid. I thought him and Marino were the two guys led by Elway. I thought they were really special. And, if they played in today's game, they'd be even more dynamic, I think, even more special.
Right. Can you imagine some of these guys that used to get beat up, in their day, playing in today's NFL? So, as we're down to the last minute or so, I know you got a heart out at 1. So again, Merry Christmas, my brother. Appreciate it.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, I got my little Hanukkah bracelet.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah, man.
So, we're all done with my holiday, but again, putting the QR code up there for all our people tuning in. Make sure you head over to SouthFloridaTribune.com. Parting words for the holidays for today's episode, my friend.
Man, great episode. Miss my man Ben, no doubt about it. I hope everybody just enjoys their day, enjoys the next couple of days as we head into the new year. Love talking football with you, Steve. Love talking sports, period. And just looking forward to our next show.
Yeah, we're gonna have a fun one. So again, everyone, I hope you guys enjoy the Christmas holiday. Happy holidays. If you don't celebrate Christmas, whatever your the holiday of your nationality is, I hope you enjoy it with you and yours. Everyone, be safe. Don't be stupid. Do not drink and drive. I don't need to be losing any more good people in this world, and there's too many stupid people out of there. So. Other than that, another fun one in the books. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Eddie Prather's in there getting ready to get Eddie's care package together, because we did hit 1 million views this week on the channel. Getting ready to announce our next giveaway and another package that will put together. Other than that, I'm Steve. He's Marvin. This was another great episode of The Fan in the End. Obviously, we're missing the end. Hopefully, Ben is enjoying his time with his family today. But peace out, my friends, and we will catch you on the flip side. Peace out, my friends.
Take care, guys.